Why are you at the Fox News debate tonight in Milwaukee?
Well, you know, a lot of people have been asking me that, and many people said you shouldn't do them, but you see the polls have come out, and I'm leading by 50 and 60 points. And, you know, some of them are at 1 and 0 and 2. And I'm saying, do I sit there for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it's going to be, and get harassed by people that shouldn't even be running for president? Should I be doing that?
Should he be doing that? Should he have gone? So there was Trump, noticeably in a blue tie, very different from all of the candidates running in the Republican primary with their red ties. There he was on Tucker Carlson's show on X, which I need to go puke now that I've said it. Saying that he didn't want to be there. He didn't have a reason to be there. He didn't want to get berated by a bunch of people. And a couple things to know about this interview. One, Donald Trump's demeanor is incredibly defeated. I just want to say that he was not combative. He was not loud. He was slumped over for a lot of this interview. And he was like, yeah, I don't know, I shouldn't have gone. Why would I go? I gotta say, and I don't know what everyone else thinks, Sharon, I don't know what you think. I think it was actually a misstep to miss this debate. And the reason I say that is because I was not as disgusted as I usually am coming out of a Republican primary debate. And I link that to Donald Trump not being there. Just like in the aftermath of January 6th when Trump was off Twitter, you're like, what's different? Is someone wearing a new perfume? And it's like, no, Donald Trump is no longer on Twitter. Donald Trump was no longer on the Republican debate stage, talking over people, yelling, saying the same BS talking points, being the sort of like old, senile, loud dad that everyone has to kind of capitulate and sort of tiptoe around. He wasn't there, and it was kind of this breath of fresh air, but also gave a lot of oxygen for other candidates to potentially stand out.
Yeah, and I think you're right about him being defeated, if not exhausted. Perhaps it's all the criminal indictments, and what are we at 91 counts now? That's at it. He needed a nap. Donald Trump may not say very many smart things, but he thrives on the big stage and the theater of it and the suspense and springing things on us and being ridiculous. And when he can't do that and all he has in front of him is Tucker's curls and crossed legs, it just doesn't have the same thing. I noticed the tie too, it's different, but his demeanor, I think he should have put on Melania's coat. I don't really care, do you? Because that's what his demeanor was giving off. It was just weird.
Absolutely. I mean, you will see, look, he's still the front runner. That much is clear, but it doesn't necessarily project strength at a time when you swear that you're innocent. But you've got all of these legal cases coming at you. Like, at least maybe stand on the stage and say it's all lies. I mean, he could have owned and ran that entire stage. Instead, he gave a lot of space for other candidates to make their case. What they're making their case about, completely unclear. What the Republican Party is without Donald Trump, completely unclear. Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis, loser after loser after loser, unelectable loser. I'm sorry. Like, Ramaswamy's trying to do Trump, but he's not Donald Trump, okay? He's not coming in there with a lot of brand name recognition. So very curious that Trump missed it, and he was absolutely the elephant in the room that wasn't discussed a lot. Curiously, no one was openly saying MAGA. No one was openly saying they will continue Trump's legacy. Not even Trump's running mate, Mike Pence, wants to continue the Trump legacy. In fact, perhaps the person who wants to continue the Trump legacy the least is Mike Pence. Even though he swears he's going to continue what they started. But so there was more here. Tucker Carlson interviewed Donald Trump instead of Trump performing or debating the other Republican primary candidates in Milwaukee. And one of the things that Tucker asked Donald Trump is whether he thinks that there's an impending civil war in the United States. Tucker clearly trying to lead this horse to drink. Here is how that exchange went down.
Think we're moving towards civil war?
There's tremendous passion and there's tremendous love.
So do you think it's possible that there's open conflict? We seem to be moving towards something.
I don't know, because I don't know what it, I can say this. There's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen, and that's probably a bad combination.
So it's probably a bad combination, which means maybe yes, it's going to happen. At least he put the word bad in front of it. Do you think there's a civil war? There's a lot of passion, there's a lot of hatred. It's a bad combo. Sharon, is that a win? At least civil war bad.
No, but I'm going to tell you why. Because he was non-committal, because he, again, has been so busy. He hasn't had enough time to drum up the hatred. He's under several orders. I don't know if they're exactly gag orders, but he'll get back out there and he'll make sure to, really stoke the coals here. I'm pretty sure also that Tucker and who wrote the questions, okay? And they shared them before. All the things that journalists don't do was not done in this case. So I just think that no, it's not a win because he doesn't even believe it. He was tired too. Did they medicate him?
Yeah, no, it's hard to get Iadarola out there, and he is no different. But yeah, he in the middle of that, we cut that up because in the middle he sort of goes into what happened on January 6th. Now, unprompted, Tucker Carlson did not ask him about January 6th, asked him about civil war. And he said, look, on January 6th, it was a beautiful crowd, it was a massive crowd, so sort of lauding his crowd sizes. And then, but it kind of is the suggestion that what happened on January 6th was potentially or could be drummed up again to do something far worse than what happened in the Capitol that day. But a lot of Americans, whether Trump, it seems like Trump agrees with them. A lot of Americans actually do think that a civil war in the next decade could be likely. So this is from YouGov. 2/3 of Americans, 66% believe that political divisions in the country have gotten worse since the beginning of 2021, compared to only 8% who say the country has grown less divided. Few see things improving in the coming years. 62% expect an increase in political divisions. I never know what to make of some of these polls because I feel like when you agree with them, like I don't know which side I stand on this. I definitely think we're incredibly divided. But I think when you say that, oh yeah, civil war is gonna happen, it's like you're willing it and wishing it into existence, just like we sort of like gassed the Donald Trump presidency into existence.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.